Alright, down at the Black Lives Matter protest, kind of early. This is like the fourth day I've been down here. Haven't been down here none last week. I'm showing you the Dolly Madison house. That was once the home of fourth president, wife James Madison. This is 8th Street. Department of Veterans Affairs, just across the street. Got a few broken windows, or windows that have been, some type of object must have been thrown through these windows. Well, what I have noticed is that Lafayette Square Park, whatever they want to call it, has been reopened to the public. That's the park that's in front of the White House on the north side. People down here for a variety of causes, I would assume. There's a young man, he's break dancing. Looks like he's pretty good. This is part of St. John's Church, same church the president stood in front of for what a lot of people say was just a photo op. All presidents have visited this church besides all presidents since fourth president James Madison has visited this church. That's the fourth president up to our 44th president, Barack Obama. There's no reports of current president Donald Trump ever attending this church, only to take their photo op, which aggression was made towards the peaceful protesters that day. Tear gas, military force. In a few moments, I'm going to show you Lafayette Square. Okay, previously this area was non-accessible by the public. You see people sitting there. You see that like a white structure going across the front gate of the White House? That was actually up before the protests in regards to the murder of brother George Floyd. They were doing some reconstruction of the gate, so forth and so on account that previous years, several people had scaled the gate, and 90% of the time of people scaling the gates of the White House, it happens on this side of the White House. This is the north side, where the official address of the White House is 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Northwest, Washington, D.C. Sign here on this tree. A lot of people are participants in, the protest, but what's going on is really deeper than the protest. And it's evident on how everything came about. First, the coronavirus came in, and the murder of brother George and several other people of color. And I mentioned the coronavirus because if the coronavirus wouldn't have came, a lot of people wouldn't have been able to be protesting like they were. So this is possibly a, you know, a paradigm shifting event that was caused by the injustice to not just black people, but humanity in whole. There's a change that's coming, that need to come, and the people of the earth was taking too long to make the change. So situations occurred to force the change. We were becoming stuck in an old paradigm and acceptance of this brutality, criminal justice system, injustice systems all across the world, supporting law enforcement, not law agents. Listen to the word enforcement. They enforce, with force, the law. Once again, this is viewing 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. A lot of people are down on Lafayette Square.
In our country. It's one of the biggest political scandals in the history of our country, I believe, because
get a view of the White House.
And the medical industry have been holding this behind this information to the public. The CDC's been
Later on today, I'll be making a video addressing the issue of the terminology white and how that it is actually a term when we use it to acknowledge people actually promotes and continue the life of white supremacy. There's no such thing as white people. The White House is white. Oh, down 16th Street, there's more people. You know, last time I was here, what happened was it was like 3,000 people out here in front of the White House on 8th Street. And as I was about to leave, I looked down 16th Street and there was another 3,000 people at least coming towards this area. And once they got to this destination, what happened is that the movement moved down to the area of the Capitol. And I thought that was very, very, you know, wise, because it's only but so much you can do in front of the White House. I know that people want the president to know that they're fed up, but to go to the Capitol, that's where things get changed at. That's where the legislations, you know, laws and bills that eventually become laws are actually manufactured or produced in Congress. And that's what needs to be adjusted. So it's the congressmen and women that have a lot of power in making drastic changes in a system that has ran its course. What's going on in this system today is like an 8-track tape. It carried the music, but it's out of date. So this system most definitely needs some adjustments. And it is evident all over the world that people are dissatisfied, living in the lies and the hypocrisy of racist ideology, prejudice, the sick-minded here in America and across the world that believe that they are superior to other human beings because of their melanin recessiveness. And that's all it is. Recessive of melanin is what we got when we identifying. We're identifying so-called white people, people from Europe, people from the area of the Caucasus Mountain, where the terminology Caucasian come from. Caucasian from the Caucasus Mountain. So I'm mentioning that because here in America, they make us think that the Russians are their enemies. But in all actuality, the Russians are their brothers, the elite. I'm not saying that, that the everyday so-called, European, Caucasian, white person, they are unaware because they are some of the most indoctrinated people within this system because of the lies of their forefathers. And some of those lies of their forefathers has psychologically damaged so many generations, this generation, previous generations, and some generations that come, because that's how deep their lies run. That's why most spiritual teachers, if not all, teach, those who embrace them, that do not operate in the frequencies of deception, lies, and falsehood. Because it's a seed that's been planted, and it will produce corruption. It was a long time coming. Yet, the fruit of the wickedness, the nefarious, psychological duping of the Caucasian race, Europeans, have come to fruition, and the people are waking up. And many of them no longer believe the lies of their forefathers about other people or other nationalities. But we do have those that, for privilege sake or for psychological sickness, insanity, which continue to embrace, advocate, promote, and demonstrate in the areas of a superior complex, which is straight foolishness and falsehood. The lack of melanin or the excessive melanin within the individual does not give them any superior way of thinking. Everything that we acquire is learned. Some people may learn faster than others, but it's just like riding a bicycle. It's saying, well, because you are a so-called Negro, you don't know, you can't learn how to ride this bicycle. Picture that. When people get opportunities bring forth the manifestation of what people can and cannot do. And again, some people do things better than other people. That's just like your hand can pick up something better than your foot. Your hand will be a better component to pick up things with. People can pick up things with their feet, but it's just that the hand is more capable of doing it. And that's just like the hand say, hey, Mr. Foot, because you can't pick up that piece of paper, I'm better than you. And the foot can say in return, well, Mr. Hand, you can't run fast as me. You might can walk on your hands, but you can't run as fast as these feet can. And this just an analogy to show the ignorance of people that thinking that they're better than any other people because of anything. The thing is, collectively, people are in different cultures, and they learn things, and they learn it so they can teach it to other people. So some people, let's say for example, was good in iron, dealing with the metal of iron. Then other people could have been better with just social thinking. But the thing is that the social thinkers and the iron makers supposed to collaborate as a body of human beings and teach the others. That's what it's all about. But somewhere along the line, some nefarious, wicked individuals have promoted division on a level that is tumbling down. It was an illusion, it wasn't true, and that's why it is being dismantled now. And as we continue to live or have the blessing or privilege to continue to live on this plane, we will see more and more illusions come down. Because illusions can't stand the test of time. It is truth that stands the test of time. One thing about truth, it really doesn't change, and if it do change, maybe it was never truth in the first place. Oh, he got dedication to Breonna Taylor. Oh, Breonna, I didn't see that. It's a nice mural they got up here. There's a gate wasn't here before the protest. I don't recall it. There's got a beautiful mural. You got Brother Judge, Breonna. Unfortunately, this woman was murdered in her home. I don't know what became of that case, but justice needs to be rendered to her and her family. I like reading these signs. There's some very creative people. Black genocides. Okay, there you go. Nice little scenery here. There's a little candle down there.
Much more crowded. Much less crowded.
Oh, there we go.
Much more line.
You got one, Ahmad. There you go, sir. Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Emmett Till, Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice. All murdered. And all these murders were related to the psychological insanity of white supremacy, racism, prejudice, bigotry, a nefarious thought process. Alright, let me go over here down 16th Street. See what's happening. Got people taking advantage of the opportunity, coming out, making a little extra bread, moolah, chicken. Yes. Youngins, they got the gas. I'm already gassed up. I don't need it. I had enough in my lifetime. Okay, here go a nice view of the front of St. John's. The president stood in one of these locations not too long ago. A lot of people were insulted by his photo op, as you know, a lot of people identified it as. I don't know what the president's agenda was. I do know a lot of people were not enchanted with the attempt or whatever he was attempting. I don't even know what to call it. It seemed like, you know, from a lot of people that I spoke to, it seemed like some type of magical trick. Okay, a lot of more people down here on 16th Street. 16th Street is known as the street of the churches here in Washington, D.C. There's over 50 churches up and down 15th Street, starting with this church here, St. John. This is the Hay Adams Hotel right here, one of the more prestigious hotels here in Washington, D.C., right in the line with the Mayflower, and the Wyndham. Those some very prestigious hotels here in Washington, D.C. All of them right around the White House in a radius of about 4 to 5 blocks. As you see over here, 16th Street, a lot of businesses have their establishment at the Ronald Reagan Foundation Institution. I didn't even know that was there. But they had these places built, boarded up. And one thing that I noticed, even downtown, that a lot of contractors have gotten a lot of jobs to board these things up. And I'm not trying to make a racial issue out of it, but I tell you the truth, out of everybody that I seen putting this flyboard up, I did not see not one. I'm talking about You can quote me on that. Not one African American participating or getting any of this money for putting up this plywood on these buildings in this downtown area. Only thing the African Americans, so-called blacks, had an opportunity to do is to express their First Amendment and write Black Lives Matter on these plyboards. No financial gain during this economical collapse and recession here in the United States and across the world. Now, you see the yellow, that's the Black Lives Matter right here on 16th Street going to the White House. They said that they're gonna sue the mayor of Washington, D.C. for this. But you know, that's another one of the potential hate tactics, you know, to try to discredit her. You know, we have some people even in the movement that were kind of appalled and said that wasn't enough. The whole thing is, you got to use your mind, your brain, people. You can't, it's not like things going to change overnight. Everything that's happening is a process. A process. We got to go through the process. A lot of people don't believe in protesting. Protesting is the doorway to boycotting. So we need these things. People that came before us, they utilize these tactics. Some people want quicker results. They even want violent confrontations. But the whole thing is, if you have violent confrontation, you're birthing the violence, and then you become the very thing that you've been fighting against. That's just the point of view. You can do what you do. I just know what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna handle it. I'm gonna keep my thoughts elevated, look beyond the illusion, and do the best that I can do to assist, you know, people that's like-minded. If you wanna go out here, rip, run, ravage, cuss, fuss, bust, hey man, that's your choice. It's a part of the Constitution. You got the right to do those things, but you got the right to receive the consequences of your actions as well. That's the whole thing. A lot of people want to do stuff, but they don't want to accept the consequences. They want to say, well, the so-called white man did this, the justice system did this, but don't want to take accountability for what we ourselves have done to bring about these situations. It's all about accountability. It's about raising up over the former way of thinking and doing things, and get elevated in your thoughts. Move on to the next level of operation. Be grown men and grown women. Elevated thoughts so you can pass it on to your children and your children's children. Surely we are going through a situation or an experience that is monumental. But it ain't gonna be over. Many of us, we're gonna go to our graves and the struggle gonna continue. And it's all about the seeds that we plant in the struggle that will be beneficial or destructive to the future generations. Once again, just a point of view. Don't try to kill the messenger. Well, you know what? They do kill the messenger. Go ahead, come on, kill me. They always kill the messenger. I had to think about that. Everybody talking about don't kill the messenger. The messenger always get killed. It's the way of the universe. When you bring truth to a certain level and you stand for truth for a certain level, be ready to die. Got a lot of people, a lot of shirts over here. So anybody need a Black Lives Matter shirt or probably some of the other, I Can't Breathe. Hey, you can go to my YouTube page. I made a short video, I Can't Breathe, dedicated to Brother George Floyd and whoever else that was murdered by strangulation by the law enforcement agents across the world. My man Stubbs rung an old CD that we used to listen to back in the day, ATL, not Atlanta, ATL, Above the Law. Yeah. And they laid it down. Very political viewpoints. Black Lives Matter. Right here on 16th Street. Let me see. Christian Science Reading Room. They have you know, in this world we stay in, that we living in, residing in temporarily, a lot of things have been changing. You know, right now I'm in the midst of gas, but I don't know what gas is. That's that marijuanas. they blaze them up. Like Stir said.
Black Lives Matter bands, $1. $1 bands, Black Lives Matter.
Got a lot of brothers out here making it do what it do. You know, that's one thing. It's about advertisement, promoting, getting the word out. And you know, I know a lot of people is angry, but be careful of your energy. You put that energy out there, it's coming back. If it don't come back to you, it's gonna go to somebody else. So be responsible for your energy. And don't let your energy become the enemy. If that flew over your head, just think about the world.
This seems like crossing the heart now. I feel like I can't really do it.
Like more and more people coming. They have several streets from 11th Street up to 16th Street that is non-accessible. So you have to, that's on the east side. The White House on the west side. I don't know how far the blockage go off, but I can look down there. It's going well past 20th Street. It looks like, let's say, 16, 17, 18, about 20th Street. But when you come down here, you look forward to walking unless you, metro stations are in operation. You got a sister right here. Sister, can I get a picture of that shirt in your hand so I can show it to the people? Facebook Live, Black Lives Matter. So we get the other side, please. I can't breathe. Appreciate you, sister. From a few weeks ago, the atmosphere here has actually really changed. You know, people are here. I don't feel as much of the anger. And now I think we're in a different phase of the protest itself, but people will still come out in numbers to show the dissatisfaction of the policies here in the United States and other places around the world. And you know, a lot of people is really creative, you know, within this movement with some of the t-shirts and things and other apparels that they are making available to the people. Okay. Yeah, we got a brother over here with a sign. Okay, let's see.
First Blood, Black Lives Matter, First Blood.
Okay, we got a brother with the Black Lives Matter face mask. Okay. All right, it's an opportunity, man. Come over here. We got some strong, powerful shirts over here. Harriet Tubman. We out. That's something different. Oh yeah, like that. There's some nice, decent different types of shirts here. You know, got the 60, 70 theme, sister with the afro, a lot of positive energy with these words on these shirts. Every time I hear these words, man, it makes me feel some type of way. I can't breathe. Got some hats over here. That's it. All right, all right. Here's another shot of the White House right here. For anyone that don't know, that is on that statue right there. That is 7th President Andrew Jackson. You know, a lot of people, different views on the decapitating and the destruction of a lot of statues of Confederate Army participants, and also the Confederate Army or the Confederacy, their President Jefferson Davis and the Vice President Stephen, I failed to be caught. Stephen Alexander, yeah, he was the vice president. And then they also have, you know, Robert E. Lee, who is more well known than both of those guys, I think. But a lot of people are dissatisfied and have taken it upon themselves because of the local community's slackness in taking those offensive structures down. Those men, point blank, committed treason collectively with the Confederate Army. They attempted to overthrow the United States. They were promoters of racism. They was prejudiced, bigots, white supremacists, white nationalists. Yeah, I said it. I said it because it's true. And if anyone can bring me any information or evidence that says otherwise, I would make an adjustment. But I'm pretty sure that you can't, because you know, all the statistics and the stats dealing with those men and their goals and their agendas and why they were opposed of the Union and the presidency of Abraham Lincoln is straight base rooted in racism. They wanted to own people. They wanted to continue in the old way. See, and that's a perfect example how things must change. The paradigm shifted, but they wanted to keep the old ways. And the residue of them individuals and others that thought like them or think like them are still prevalent today. That is the residue. That is still the fruit of racism and bigotry and prejudice and white nationalism, white supremacy. It still lives today. And that was hundreds of years ago when this seed was actually planted, cultivated, and harvested in the minds of a lot of so-called white people. And what the thing is that they are trapped in a cell within their conscious and subconscious to believe those fabrications, those fairy tales, those lies that was told to them at the bedside by their mothers, fathers, grandfathers, grandparents, grandmothers, uncles, people in the community. A collective agreement on a bold-faced lie. And that's why we are at where we are at today, because of those lies. And for the record, me myself, I'm not in support of Democrats or Republicans. That's just my preference. Don't be mad at me because I'm not, and I'm not mad at you because you are. But I will say this: I have been doing some research, And I have concluded that the neo-Nazi party, the white supremacists, the skinheads, the white nationalists, none of them are in agreement with the Democratic Party, and 100% of them are in agreement with the Republican Party and the current president's ideology. I'm just stating the facts. If you can show me different, once again, I will make an adjustment in my thoughts. But that's what my research has showed me. I think that there's another party that need to be made, supported, because for surely we're not getting the results from either party that the people collectively would like to see and have. That's just the point of view. You can keep on voting for, the left wing or the right wing of the same bird. They're going to take you in the same direction. One might take you one way, but going to get you there, and the other going to take you the other way. But remember, both parties is the wing of the same bird. People got to learn how to think for themselves and come on the outside of the box of the cultural conditioning of our indoctrinated thought processes that we had collectively collected from television, social programming, so forth and so on. Think for yourself, people. That's the whole thing. We got to learn to think for ourselves and tell ourselves the truth and stop lying to ourselves. The governing factors have lied to us so long, we believe those lies. Well, I ain't gonna say we, some of us, some of you believe those lies. I have no confidence in the lies of those that govern us. I'm not saying all of them liars, but I don't know. But I know that since I have been aware and paying attention to political operations, nobody tells the truth in total. Nobody keeps their promises that they make when they're on the election, on the road to the presidency, and once they get there, it's very seldom that they can actually manifest any of the promises they made to the people. And what I have seen, that we're actually in the middle of a real vicious hustle. It's kind of like the guys that was in New York and DC at one time. Even when I was in Colorado, they used to do this game called 3-Car Molly. So in 3-Car Molly, what happened is that a guy here be shifting some cars around, and he got at least one or two other guys with him. So he'll let this one guy win and try to get some attention. But all the time the guy's with him. Then another guy might come, he with him as well, he'll win. But when you put your money down there, they give you the old scrabble. They got you. They get you. Once they get you to put your money down, they get you. I seen a lot of people, walk away, discouraged. A couple of young ladies even crying. But I make mention of that because that's how both parties work. They are actually working together. You cannot tell me if, say, I'm for one party and my cousin, Akintunde, cousin Mike, he with the other party, and my cousin, he got a policy or bill going on the table. He need certain amount of support or votes to get it passed, and I can even be that decisive vote. And because I'm with one party and he with the other party, even though I believe that his idea is good, I go against him because of my alliance with the party. It's not my alliance with truth and what's better for the people, but it's my alliance with the party. And then afterwards, me and my cousin wife and my wife, per se, we go out and have dinner together. We go, and chat. Man, where I come from, here in Washington, D.C., that's a hustle. And that's all I'm trying to tell y'all, that they hustling us. They've been hustling us. I'm not trying to tell nobody not to vote for either party, but just know what you participating in. Brother Minister Malcolm said this. He said, before you join an organization, know what that organization is about. A lot of people don't know what any of these organizations is about because what? They're traditionalists. What is a traditionalist? A traditionalist is somebody that participates in a behavior just because somebody else is participating in it. A lot of times a family member, the mother, the father, the grandparents, the uncle, the cousin. Oh, we Republicans. Everybody down here Republicans. Oh, we Democrats. All of us, we always been Democrats. And don't even care if they put a goddamn camel in the White House or in a governor's mansion. You know, it doesn't matter because long as they is of the party. Ladies and gentlemen, we gotta wake up from the madness of that indoctrination, that spell, that enchanted magic, and make an adjustment. Okay, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we got people coming down 16 and to the left. No justice, no peace. We got a group here. All right. It's going to start to heat up. I can tell, ladies and gentlemen, as far as the number of people, it's still very early. Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do you want?
Justice!
When do you want it?
Now!
What do you want?
Justice!
When do you want it?
Now!
What do you want?
Justice!
When do you want it?
Now!
No trespass.
No peace!
No trespass.
No peace!
No trespass.
No peace!
No trespass.
No peace! No peace! No peace! Ah, that was some good energy right there. That was some good energy right there, ladies and gentlemen. They came through. Yeah, they brought the waves, the frequencies, energy's elevated. Yeah. So we got this group going down 16, and we got another group coming up 16. Look like over 1,000 people with signs and things coming up this way. And I guess everybody gonna come here and set up shop right here on 8th Street. This is a common ground since times that I've been coming down here to these protests. Very peaceful. Everybody is, you know, protesting, exercising their First Amendment right according to the Constitution, the right to assemble, the right to freedom of speech. We even had people out here giving out free water and other things to help people stay hydrated and, you know, compensate any hunger.
Cash out Venmo, cash out Venmo. Got the mask, got the mask.
This is a new day, paradigm shift, conscious shift. Wake up, everybody. That's what it's all about, waking up. Man, if you was doing things in the lower frequency before, man, get up off that jump. That ain't who you is. Raise up, raise your frequency, raise your level. Be a positive energy in your community and your family, amongst your mans and them. Stop going along with the program of death and destruction and corruption. Raise it up. Become who you were created to be. A lot of us got on these masks, pretending out here being cartoon characters, talking about we thugs, video vixens, ratchet, you know, taking pride in these dumb Jones. These Jones are labels that identify you to people in our ignorance. And I'm saying our ignorance because I used to be a firm supporter of that particular type of life. But I'm thankful that I was able to make an adjustment by the blessings and the grace of the Most High. I know some people don't believe in the Most High, no higher power. That's cool. That's your choice. But I do, and that's my choice. And let's keep it moving. This is 16th Street. Ladies and gentlemen, about to sign off. Maybe pick up later. Go check out the area of the Capitol. And as I'm signing off, remember this. Love is the highest frequency here on the planet. And when we love one another, we can't hate one another. When we love one another, we can't treat one another in a disdainful way. We can't curse one another. We can't do certain types of things that contradicts love. See, what we got is what is called as a perverted love. I love you, but I'ma steal from you. I'ma love you, but I'ma cuss you out. I'ma love you, but I'ma put hands on you. That ain't love. That's perversion. And I'm out of here. This Newz reporting from Washington, D.C. Yeah, that's how we do it there. Peace.